So I don't know if you've ever been scared of, acceptance, whether it's something you need to accept within yourself or something you want to go do, but all the thoughts and the fears arise, and you're thinking, then, am I going to be accepted? And this happens in art and creative practice, and it also happens in our lives. Sometimes we fear the other, and or fear what's happened with the other. So how do we kind of enter into the fear? That sounds maybe counterintuitive. Why would I enter the fear? Because it's something I fear. Joseph Campbell, the great mythologist, says, the cave we fear to enter holds the treasure we seek. And it's something to sit with, that quote, that thought, but it's not the easiest thing to practice. I don't know if you've ever just grabbed a quote and wrote it down, and shared it or thought about it, but until you lived into the quote, then it becomes a different thing. When you've embodied the experience, your life changes and your understanding changes. And oftentimes I think we gravitate towards those things that are calling us forward, that have the little clues, the signs, the hints, the synchronicities. Things show up when we're ready, or maybe even when we're not ready. I can't really say. I think I've seen both things happen and more on my journey so far, and this is what brings me here to make this section of the channel, to talk about these deeper soul philosophical understandings. And of course, I'm still learning, and I still make mistakes. I always like to say that, because the tendency is to think we've arrived somewhere, and I've definitely made mistakes in the past thinking that, in my spiritual life, in my regular life, even in my artistic practice. But what I've noticed, and what the universe has shown me, is whoa, anything can happen in any given moment, and there's always choices to be made, and sometimes we might make the wrong choice, or the wrong choice at the wrong time, the right choice at the wrong time. I don't know. So there isn't really this one definitive answer, is what I'm trying to say. And that's why the philosophy and the pondering and the poetic nature and artistic nature can come into being when we kind of connect with our hearts and minds and bodies, soul, spirit, energy, emotion. We can gain the information for ourselves. So that's what I want you to do, is go within yourself, listen to what I say, but if it doesn't resonate, don't do it. You don't have to subscribe to everything that's happening here, just as much as I don't externally. So try to keep that open channel, and it's a practice, and it's hard to do, because you have to be mindful and vigilant of when you fall short, and when you make the mistake, and turn it around again, and move out and try to do better. Or the great epiphany can come, but you still gotta live life. When I talk about acceptance, what does that mean? How do we accept ourselves, and how do we start to enter that cave that we fear? Sometimes I've noticed in my life, the universe has exploded me into the cave, and I had no choice but to look. And it seems, when I look back on my life at this point, in time and place, well, there's been many, many initiations on the path of life. I don't think we talk about being initiated by life. It's more in shamanic culture, where we'll hear the word initiation, and we don't necessarily honor the hard times, because there's really important information and lessons that we've received in like maybe even grief and loss or sadness, or a crazy upheaval or a spiritual emergence, which really does happen. And I know it can happen. So I think part of me wanting to have this section of the channel is really because of all the experiences that I've lived, and because I don't see it as so black and white, and I don't see it as so linear. I'm more of an abstract thinker, and I always have been. Sensitive, intuitive, empathic, open-hearted. Of course, you know, that can close and open, depending on the day, depending on what's happening, right? Sometimes we maybe get triggered by a memory and it like brings up all this stuff again, or we're desiring a new direction for ourselves and it brings up all this stuff again. So it's like weeding through all of that and learning to accept all of it when it's happening and not turn away. It's easy to want to suppress it and run, and believe me, I know that. Sometimes the universe presents you with things and you can't run, and then you realize something deeper within yourself. And those are the harder moments. I feel like a few of the teachers that I've talked with, they'll say that it wasn't in the rainbows and the like sunshiny moments where they were made. It was in that fire of creation and that dark dirt of dismantling. Dismemberment is what they say in shamanic practices. And although it sounds harsh and maybe scary, it's also like renewing, you know, and a revival. So sometimes in the like falling apart, there's that building back up, the whole phoenix rising out of the ashes symbology. And yeah, if you've lived any of those experiences, you'll know what I'm talking about. Sometimes you don't know what you've stepped on the path towards, or what something's going to bring you. And whoa, looking back, you're like, wow, I didn't see that coming. And I'm not laughing about it. Well, I am laughing because, you know, now I feel pretty clear with a lot of things internally. But when I was stuck in these middle of these darkest crumblings and earth-shattering, heart-shattering realizations, and, you know, loss of identity, it was painful. And you know, and some things sometimes I wanted to turn to you know, the darker feeling thoughts, but you know, I think when we're in that crucible of life, the alchemical process starts to happen, and it's like an internal thing, and then we get to choose ourselves again in the process, and we can choose to stay in love, and we can choose forgiveness, and you know, we don't have to hold on to the hatred. And those are some of the biggest lessons. And I think that's that one song, you know, I once was blind but now I see. That happens, you know, in many different ways when we're like, you know, and when we're not paying attention, sometimes the wind blows and redirects us, or tries to open us. So there are all these conversations out there, but I don't feel like there's enough of them, and there's not any from my lived experience. So this is what this channel, this little playlist is about here, is talking about these kinds of deeper thinking thoughts that I'm always thinking, and I gotta get them out, because I'm feeling like called, you know. And when we talk about acceptance, how do I just accept myself and accept all my expressions and my creations and the creativity and the art and the voice too, like the speaking voice, and the presencing, I have to like be true to that story, the journey, the heart, and I desire to share more into that deepest expression of it all. And because life has brought me to this point, and there's no sense of hiding anymore.